So last night I watched a movie called Wall to Wall, and it is a Korean film about a guy who moves into an apartment and everyone's hearing these noises and they're blaming it on him, and everyone's kind of losing their minds because no one can sleep and everyone's hearing these weird noises at night, and the apartment complex manager is trying to cover it up, and the like the whole investigation is about like where the noises are coming from, and it uncovers this big secret and everything. Well, we watched a movie called Noise today, which is coming to Fantasia Fest here, and this is our seventh film from Fantasia Fest, and all of those things I just said are also part of this film as the main plot line. So very odd to watch both of these back to back, completely like randomly. Like I did not have any knowledge of what either of these were about, but the fact that I watched them back to back was weird because there was quite a few similarities, and there was actually things ripped right out of it, so much so that I actually had to go and look at like who wrote it, if it was based on something or something. But having investigated it from looking into the wall to wall stuff last night, I guess it is a thing in Korea. Not only in Korea, of course, we live in an apartment, but I guess that there is a noise issue because of buildings being built in the 60s, and that more than like 75% of the population lives in like apartments or buildings like that, and they're like paper thin, made out of concrete. There's no noise protection, this and that. We have a subscriber to the channel. I hate if I'm misremembering, but Katie Rye, I swear, is one of our people who lives in South Korea, so she can tell us if she watches these. Anyway, this is about a woman who's hearing a lot of noise in her apartment. She ends up going missing, and we then follow her sister, who comes back to investigate where her sister went. And she's looking through the apartment. She's trying to figure out what happened. And it's kind of like a classic Asian like ghost movie in that way. And the movie gets fairly tropey in that way. So Kaylee and I had to really talk about this movie for a while because I had a lot of questions after this ended, because I just find there was way too many subplots of characters that I was having a hard time connecting, but I think I kind of unlocked it, deciphered it, so to speak, with how to just kind of watch this film. But man, I was very confused because there's just way too many crazy people living in this apartment complex. That's just all I'll say. And so it hurt the film a bit, quite a bit, honestly. Overall, I liked it fine. There was some good jump scares. I think there's two that were quite good. Not usually a huge jump scare fan or anything.
Yeah.
But those are fine. I don't know. I was so fucking confused on quite a few things. But what'd you think?
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same as you. Like, I liked it all right. I think that there is a lot of, like, convoluted kind of plot elements, like maybe too many ingredients in the soup kind of thing going on, where it sort of takes away from some of the impact that, like, some of the reveals are supposed to have, and it does add an element of confusion, I think, as, like, a viewer when you watch it.
And they're not even fully developed.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
You're just saying. It's like there's too many things going
right
on to develop all these things in 90 minutes.
Yeah. And I thought that the atmosphere was pretty good. I like, it's in this, like, apartment complex. And things are always really tense, usually, whenever, horror movies that take place in apartments. And, like, you have neighbors involved. And there's the added element of, like, versus if you're in a house and you're isolated or whatever, like, there's a connectivity there that can be, you would hope would be comforting. But kind of in this case, it ends up being, something that is, like, an added element of danger. So I like that the film does that, and I agree with you. I think there's some good jump scares. Overall, I think the performances are good from everyone. I did like the main character, and I did feel connected to, like, her story and her motivations and everything.
Same.
So there's not really any issue with that. It's mostly just that I think the plot is a little too dense and would have benefited from simplifying a bit more, and maybe just focusing on one or two elements, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, they tried to like overfill it, stuff it full of like all these threats, and as you said, it just becomes convoluted because you're really trying to hone in on the meat of it, but there's so many distractions, and you're trying to like connect those, and there was so many questions I had with you after where I was like, okay, well, what ended up happening to that body, what ended up happening to this person, whatever had happened with this person and this person connected to this thing. And I don't really have a solid answer for a few of those. Like I kind of just am like, I don't know, they're unresolved. There's some police work that's I'm very much questioning here, and it might be due to an unreliable narrator because of how the movie ends. I don't know. I don't really know what to make of quite a bit of these like subplots and even the main plot. So it's just too confusing of a film. And a film like this shouldn't be. The story they were trying to tell, I feel like you could cut out at least 2 or 3 of these random character things that are going on that just, I think they're like supposed to be either red herrings or something, but it confuses the plot.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're like, okay, who, what? And then in the end, if they had wrapped things up in a way that felt satisfying, where I was like, okay, oh, that makes sense now. Oh, okay, now it's all starting to come together. It just didn't do that, and I was really hoping, I was like kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt as we were watching it. Like, okay, it's all going to make sense in the end. Let me just let them do their thing, build their mystery, and then once it's revealed, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, you know. And I thought that, I'm not going to say what I thought maybe some of those things would be, because then that would give away what it isn't. But I had a couple things in mind, like, okay, if they do this, then I think all of that will make sense.
Right.
They didn't do that. And then if they did this, maybe that would be, and they didn't do that. So it just, and then when it ended up being, I was like, okay, that makes it even more confusing for me. So anyway, confusing, but a decent like, tropey Asian ghost movie that if you don't overthink the plot and just kind of roll with the atmosphere, you'll probably have a good time with it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair summary of our feelings.
So there you go. Fantasia Fest continues on. We have quite a few films left to go. Like we've only done 7, and there's like 100, but we only get so many screeners, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys are wondering, like, why haven't they covered Together or Good Boy or any, those aren't an option yet, and I don't know if they're going to be. And there's quite a few films. I was pretty surprised. We got some emails yesterday where they were like, this film isn't getting a release. This film isn't getting an online screener. Quite a few wrote me back. And I don't understand why their names were included in the contact lists for those films specifically. Like, contact these third-party people for these movies. Like, if they're... And then they would write me back and be like, we're not doing online screeners. I'm like, okay. Why?
Yeah,
you would think that they would keep a list of like, hey, do you want to do online screeners? No, don't include us on the online screener list.
Yeah, it's odd.
I don't think that would be that complicated, but... whatever. Anyway, I'm not complaining. It was just odd. So if there are movies at Fantasia Fest that you're wondering, like, why didn't you cover this? Or like, what about this one? Trust me, we tried.
Yes.
If we didn't cover it, we tried to cover it.
Yeah.
That's that. Anyways, we'll see you in the next one. Adios.
Bye.